Hey everybody, I'm Benjamin, aka The Terrible Australian at supermarsy.com, and welcome to my video review of the romantic drama Me Before You. So let's get right into it. Now, I'm going to make a really big confession, and I know I'm going to lose a lot of brownie points because of this. I actually have a soft spot for romantic dramas. I know it's embarrassing, but I can't help it. It's particularly ones that are a bit of the tearjerker kind. Like, I sort of grew up watching films like, Beaches, Steel Magnolias and whatnot. So it's kind of the well-made sort of tearjerker drama is kind of one of those things that, if done really well, can actually kind of affect me as a person. And I guess that just makes me a bit of a big softie. So, but only when they're done well. Like, there have been some really bad ones over the years. Like, some of the Nicholas Sparks ones are not good at all. So when it came to Me Before You, which is sort of the latest sort of romantic drama, I was kind of umming and ahhing whether this is going to be good or not. I even though it had a really appealing cast with it, like Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones, Sam Claflin, and also Oscar nominee Jenna McTeer and Charles Dance, also from Game of Thrones. Just having that sort of combination of actors definitely appealed to me. But at the same time, with romantic dramas, they can kind of go either way. You're not sure whether they're going to, most of the time, to the bad side. But I have to say, though, surprisingly, I thought this was a pretty solid film. Like, it's not a particularly amazing film by any means, and it doesn't really sort of, tackle anything that we haven't seen before in other romantic dramas. But I thought it was a really nicely made one, and one of the things that I really liked about it, even though it is a drama and it's one that's definitely sets out to make you cry, it has actually a pretty good sort of sense of humor to it as well, and especially in the first two halves, which I thought were actually quite funny at times. And another thing that really made me enjoy the film a lot was, of course, the two lead performances from both Emilia Clarke and Sam Claflin. I probably butchered his last name, so forgive me. To me, when it comes to romance films, to me the key ingredient, what makes one work, is the chemistry between the two leads. And to me, if you have two characters and their chemistry are great, but also they have to be sort of a couple, on-screen couple that you want to see get together. Because if there's no chemistry, you just don't want to see them together at all. But Emilia Clarke and Sam Claflin, they both have great on-screen chemistry. You actually really believe they sort of start off as friends and whatnot, and you actually sort of dislike each other, particularly with Sam Claflin, with every sort of what he's gone through with what his character's gone through. He's much more sort of cynical and kind of views the world in a very pessimistic way. And Emilia Clarke's character is like the polar opposite. She's much more bubbly and fun, and sort of throwing these two together would be a cause for disaster. And at first, it's like that. But as they sort of get to know each other, their friendship blossoms, and of course it blossoms into love. And to me, they're both really good in this film. I really enjoyed their scenes together, and I really sort of found them really appealing and charming. And also, both actors kind of get to show off different sides of them. Sam Claflin, again, if I butchered his last name, forgive me. Definitely, he's always played sort of the charming kind of Brit type of roles over the years. In a way, he kind of reminds me of a sort of a young sort of Hugh Grant. But here, though, he gets to really kind of stretch himself as an actor. Sorry. Because since his character's confined to a wheelchair and paralysed, you definitely get to see that sort of inner turmoil that his character's facing throughout the whole film. And Emilia Clarke, since she sort of plays Daenerys on Game of Thrones, which is a very serious role, it's actually kind of, in a way, really cool to see her kind of play this really bubbly, very fun, charming character that she plays. And it also gets to show us a different side of her. Like, some people may think, like, oh, she's maybe a bit too childish at times, but I actually think it works for the character, and it's a believable type way. She is a very bubbly character, and I can understand some people kind of being a bit annoyed with her, but I actually found her quite charming, but I found them both like that. And also the supporting cast are Janet McTeer and Charles Dance and so many others. They're not given as much to do compared to the two leads, but they do they're all really solid in their roles. The script by Jojo Moyes. I probably butchered her last name, so forgive me. She also wrote the novel that the film is based on, and it's a pretty solid script. The direction by Thea Sharrock is pretty solid as well. Nice score, pretty good soundtrack as well. In terms of negatives, like I said, it doesn't really sort of add anything new that we haven't seen before in other sort of romantic dramas. And you can tell sort of towards this last half of the film that they are really pulling for the heartstrings. And I will admit I did find it very effective though, nonetheless, even though I know it's very sentimental and whatnot. But not in a way that's cheesy though, which is good. Although where it sort of goes in the second half, because the film does deal with a very serious subject, which I won't divulge here because it's in spoiler territory, which I guess I can understand why a lot of people kind of found up in arms with the film because of that. If you've heard about the sort of controversy behind the film, you'll know what I'm talking about. Because the film does sort of take, when it comes to this certain aspect, the film sort of takes, I guess, because it is a very sort of complicated issue, and the film in a way kind of takes more of a sort of a safe approach to it. That's because it is a sort of a very delicate kind of issue, and it's one that would have brought a lot more complexity to the film. But the film kind of, I guess in a way, kind of takes the more easy route in terms of that, and does a sort of a very safe approach to this particular subject. And I kind of wish the film kind of delved into that more and but it kind of feels like the film kind of Hollywoodizes it. Not to say it's done in a way that's insulting or anything like that, at least not to me anyway, at least not from my viewing of the film. But I can understand why some people might be upset by that, because like I said, it is a very kind of complex type of issue, and the film kind of Hollywoodizes it. But overall, yeah, Me Before You I thought was a really solid romantic drama. Not the greatest of all time, but compared to other ones that have been out over the last year, it's actually pretty well done for most part. And I thought it was pretty effective as well. So if I had to give this a rating, I give it a solid 3 stars. So yep, that's the end of my video review of Me Before You. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all later. See you everyone.